Greetings. Hello. 'Tis the season. Happy holidays. I'm Brian Rademacher, and I am the AmaWaterways salesperson for Northern California, coming to you from Sonoma County, Petaluma to be exact. And thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to come join us. Us being, of course, Sandy Lipkowitz is joining us in the beautiful red garb there, looking very lovely.
A little holiday festive, right?
That's very nice. I should have worn my scarf or something. I'm not dressed as I should be, so apologies for that. And also, but Liz has beautiful Liz Barrett. Yep, very nice. Great. And Liz is our wine cruise guru at AmaWaterways, and always a wonderful addition to any webinar that's going to talk about, well, any webinar period, but especially any webinar that is related to wine in some way, shape, or form. And this particular webinar is definitely related to wine because tonight we're going to be talking about Bordeaux, which might as well be Mecca, right, for wine lovers in the world. And so again, thank you. Two notes, housekeeping notes. There is a question box there for you to type your questions in. As you think of them, just type them in, and then towards the end of the webinar, we'll look at those questions and address them for you. Best practice is to, as soon as you think of them, type them in, and then we'll look at them later. Because if you wait, you might forget. The second is, this is being recorded, right? So that's good. So I'm going to share the recording with Sandy in two different formats, actually. So she'll send that out to you tomorrow. And what we'd like, if possible, is if you have any friends, family, colleagues, whomever it might be that you think may have an interest in this particular trip, or we're going to talk about a specific departure, actually it's next November, then please feel free to share the webinar link. We'd be pleased if you did that. All right, so that's the housekeeping notes for now, and I'm going to get the webinar going here. Sandy, did you want to, let me get to your, there we go, there's your lovely picture and your date that you're hosting. Did you want to say a few words?
I'm just very excited about this. I mean, to be, as you said, Mecca for wine people in Bordeaux, but the winemaker, which you'll tell a little bit about, is from Oregon, which is, we know, is Pinot. So to me, I'm excited to think about drinking Pinots from Oregon against Cabernets from France. I mean, what an interesting combination. So going to be really, really fabulous. And of course, the pre in northern Spain and the post in the Loire Valley. Who doesn't want to stay in a Loire Valley chateau? I mean, this is like a heaven itinerary. And it'll be post all the vaccines, and we'll all be healthy, and we can toast our good health and our good fortune. And France, I mean, how better does it get?
I think that's a very apt description all the way around, and I'm in total agreement with you. So I won't spend much time here on why us, why AmaWaterways, but these are all
the best.
I should have an image that says the best. I think I may change up and do that going forward. In the meantime, you can peruse these bullet points that are what we call our brand truths, or our things that we bring to market that we feel extremely strongly about as far as what we do as a company. And they're all something you're going to experience when you come with us, and they're all important. The two here in the middle we've added recently, to be candid, and we've always had the highest level of hygiene and cleanliness. That's something that we've, again, always done. But in the current environment, we now talk about it, which makes sense. And then the financial stability, we talk about that now because in the current environment, travel sector, of course, has been kind of hard hit. And so sometimes people, especially since we're family owned, wonder, what are the family finances all about? What are they like? In a word, fantastic. The key reason is our owners are very, very prudent, and they paid for all the ships in advance. So for example, we have 3 new ships coming next year. They're already all paid for. So there's zero debt. We also have some silent partners who are not majority owners, they're minority owners. But if I named names of who our silent partners are, you'd go, wow, I know that name. So we're in good shape. So I just want to mention those two in particular. And Berlitz loves us. They're known for their language guides, but they also write travel guides, including a book on river ships. And as they say, they're quite enamored with what it is they do. And it's nice that they do that because they come on as mystery shoppers. We don't know that they're on. Douglas Ward, the author, everybody knows him. He's like the food critic that comes into a restaurant and they say, get the best steak. You know, he can't show up. So he sends out his mystery shoppers, and we're fortunate that they like us too. All right, moving on. So it says here, successful European season. You might say, well, how did I miss something? You might have, because one of our ships, the Ama Christina, sailed in Europe on the Rhine out of Cologne, north and southbound cruises with a German tour operator, right? And we cruised with over 1,500 guests for 4.5 months. And a couple things came out of that. One is most, I would say, sort of upfront, is that we had no cases of COVID, right? So we're very grateful for that. But you know, luck is the residue of design, right? And so the design was to make sure that everything was, from a health and safety protocol standpoint, in good shape. And so, yes, no COVID cases with over 1,500 guests cruising with us for 4.5 months. Two, we were the only North American river cruise brand operating in Europe via this German charter. So it was German-speaking guests from obviously Germany, Austria, Switzerland. We had some Dutch and Belgians on as well. But in any event, I always like to use sort of the sports analogy that it's always better to be playing in the game rather than on the bench and kind of watching and learning by watching. No, we actually were in the game, and that experience is invaluable going forward when we start again. Now, Sandy's departure is for another 11 months, so how much of all of this stuff will carry over? You know, who's to say? We don't really know. Honestly, we don't really know. However, what may carry over, we've put in practice for the last 4.5 months. The cruises ended around mid-November as Germany shut down again, but we got the 4.5 months in. So wanted to make mention of that because I think that's an important thing. The other important thing is that always travel insurance, very important. Further to travel insurance is a waiver program called Travel Waiver Plus, and this allows you to cancel for any reason up to 24 hours prior, and any cancel penalties that you would have incurred come back to you in a future cruise credit, good for 2 years, right? So bottom line is that you don't have to buy our regular insurance program to get this program. Sandy can tell you more about it. This has been a good seller for us, just giving people that peace of mind when they book their travel going forward. All right. If you want to see more about what all is happening on our ships, this Travel with Confidence, just go to here, AmaWaterways.com/travel-updates. Again, AmaWaterways.com/travel-updates. And it's all cached out there for you. But suffice it to say that we got dialed in this past summer on the Ama Christina. All right. Now, Taste of Bordeaux, that's the name of the itinerary, and of course, the ultimate French experience. This is the itinerary. And of course, Sandy mentioned the nights in northern Spain. We do offer 2 nights in Bilbao, 2 nights in San Sebastian, which happens to be one of our owners, Rudy Schreiner's favorite places. So it's a 4-night pre-cruise. There's also a post-cruise stay here in the Loire Valley of 2 nights. And this is your itinerary here in Bordeaux, on the Dordogne, the Les Girondes area, and all of these, of course, names that you may be familiar with from wine history, or maybe not, but certainly the name Cadillac, or Cadillac as it is pronounced in French, would be something you would know. But this is the wonderful itinerary that we are offering. And then I have a little video that I'm going to show here. Bear with me as I do that. This is actually about Liz, and specifically about wine cruises, of which you're going to be on a special celebration of wine cruise. So this will tell you more about that, and then we'll come back. At least I thought it was. Come on. Let's try it again. Wine cruise. Here we go. There we go.
Hi, my name is Liz Barrett, and I am a certified specialist of wine, and I am AmaWaterways wine expert who helped to put all of this wonderful experience together for you this week. And you are in for a treat. You're on a ship with some of the best crew, so get to know them. And we've added a lot of wine excursions onto the normal spectacular itinerary. You're going to be traveling into different wine regions, You're going to be going to wineries where you get to meet some of the family members, some of the wine cellars. You're going to have expert guides who are going to be able to tell you all about old world wines, the different varietals, some of which you've probably never heard of in North America, the different processes, many of which are regulated by the government, and you're going to be tasting some of these fun wines, getting to know the different scents, which are very, very different from our North American wines. And because of that, we also have a very special treat for you. We brought a wine host on board to celebrate this celebration of wine cruise with you. This wine host is from North America. They speak your language, they understand your palate probably better than you do, because it's probably evolved from understanding big, fruit-forward, wonderful North American wines, but they're very, very different from Old World style. So your wine host is going to be the glue that takes you between Old World and New World, and you get to do this side by side. And that is what sets AmaWaterways apart, because we want to give you an entire comprehensive view of the world of wine. Not only what you're traveling through, but what you'll return home to, and make it all part of a global view of wine. So now that you've had a little taste, we're going to treat you every single night with wonderful wines from the region. But one special night, you're going to have a gorgeous wine paired dinner where we highlight your winehouse wines. They're going to tell you all about it, visit your tables to ask questions, make sure everyone's having a wonderful time. And with that, I think it's time that you start enjoying your wonderful celebration of wine cruise with AmaWaterways.
All right. And before I turn it over to Liz here for a moment, I neglected to say thank you to Sandy for the series of webinars that she's hosted with us. So thank you so much, Sandy. Sandy's a wonderful supporter of ours. And frankly, we don't do any advertising, right? We rely on our partnership with our travel advisors like Sandy. So I wanted to not omit and forget to say thank you to Sandy for her wonderful support over the years. And again, for putting on a series of webinars. And quite frankly, I should have had an image. We're going to have another webinar next Monday, right, Sandy?
Right, we're going to be doing the Christmas markets on the Rhine. So if you're not signed up, shoot me an email, info@wemaketraveleasy.com, and I'll get you the link for that. And we're actually tasting wines as well. So Brian and Liz will be back. So what's better we can't go to the Christmas markets in real life this year, so why not visit them virtually and plan? What a great Christmas present to give your family is to go to the Christmas markets in 2021. Wouldn't that be fabulous? I mean, it would just be great.
It would indeed. So again, thank you, Sandy, for putting on these wonderful series.
Great work. I love working with AmaWaterways. They're the best. They treat my clients with the same care and service that I do. So we're just one and the same.
Cool. That's very kind. Thank you. All right. Why Bordeaux? Well, I'm going to hand it over to Liz Barrett, who she truly is whenever I say circus master, she laughs, but it's her job, quite frankly, because we're certainly known in the industry, the cruise industry, and specifically, obviously, river cruising, sort of as the river cruise line that has the whole wine kind of thematic cruise experience down pat, or at least part of our DNA and part of the warp and woof of our company, without question. But Liz is the person that kind of puts it all together. And believe me when I tell you, it is not easy, because we do quite a few of these what are called celebration of wine cruises, and Liz is the one, as I say, that pulls it all together, pulls all the strings. And I just it's amazing, I'm telling you. So Liz, tell us a little bit about the celebration of what we can expect on a celebration of wine cruise, and maybe a little bit about your background too and how you came to AMA.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for that intro. And sometimes I do feel like a circus master or an octopus in a circus. Because there are so many pieces to this. Yes, there's so many pieces to the puzzle. But I'm a certified specialist of wine, and I basically just tell people I'm a professional wino. And yes, I have 3 glasses of wine sitting here because, one just won't do. But I came to the company after going on a wine cruise in 2014 with Christine, and it was on the Danube. And I had never been on a river cruise before, and I fell in love with AmaWaterways. Not just the beautiful itinerary, the ship, the wine cruise experience, but the crew and just everything about it. And the people that are attracted to wine cruises are so much fun. And now I know why. Wine cruises are a blast. So I convinced Christine why she needs me. And yes, we've just continued to grow the wine cruises over the last 7 years. And they grow because it's just so popular. So what is a wine cruise? Rudy and Christine, gosh, 10 years ago, had a winemaker, a very iconic winemaker from Santa Barbara, come on board one of their ships, did an impromptu wine tasting, and it was so popular, they both thought, maybe we need to do wine cruises. That's how it started. They did a couple the next year, and it's grown from that time. We have between 60 and 70 every year now. And this one is going to be a blast because it's Bordeaux, which is all about wine. So when you're on board a wine cruise, we basically take the normal itinerary and we add wine excursions. So wine cruises are an amazing value. We add wine excursions, but we also add events on board. And that's what this slide is talking about. We have wine tastings on board with your wine host. There are 2 or 3 during the week, during the cruise, completely orchestrated by our wonderful crew. And it all takes place in the main lounge. And you get to try some of the local wines, some of the regional wines alongside some of the wine host wines. And that is a great way to figure out your own palate and understand the differences and nuances with European wine right then and there. Then you go on the excursions. Often you can end up in a group with your wine host, which is so much fun because I love listening to the questions they ask. And then the wine host, they are the people that during the week, they do the wine tastings, they do this amazing wine paired dinner where our cuisine, our executive chef, and we have award-winning cuisine, that's why we're Berlitz rated, they work with our executive chef to pair their amazing wines with our cuisine one beautiful night. The rest of the evenings, everything is regional wine. So it's the best of all worlds. And it's just another level of immersion into the culture that you're traveling through.
Cool. All right. Thank you for that. And certainly the folks from Oregon, I know you think highly of them, John and Jody Wrigley, right?
Oh my goodness, they are amazing. Yes.
Good. Cool.
Fun,
right.
Friendly, just a family-owned winery, delightful. I'm very jealous that you're going on this wine cruise.
Cool. All right. So while wine is certainly towards the top of the list, if not the top of the list, as far as Bordeaux goes, there's history in Bordeaux. Of course, the Roman Empire, as we all know, they got a lot of places, and you'll see Roman ruins in this part of France certainly as well. The Grand Theatre de Bordeaux, I mean, what an incredibly beautiful picture there. And then many cathedrals, of course, Cathedral Saint-André de Bordeaux as well, Port Caillou. So all these, again, fantastic places you're going to be able to visit. Yes, there's visit to wineries, but there's also visits to places like this. And then, yes, the renowned vineyards. And I put this map in here just to kind of give you a quick glimpse of the various, and I guess, Liz, it's referred to the left and right bank, right? Kind of like Paris is.
Left bank, right bank, yes.
And are the varietals on either side of the Gironde, are they different from one another, that kind of thing, or?
It's interesting. They are, Bordeaux is very Cabernet and Merlot centric. And depending on which side you're on, they will have the lead group, the lead grape. So Cabernet, I believe because I think Saint-Emilion is on the right bank, which is Merlot centric. It's what they start with. On the left bank is, I could be backwards. Anyway, it's all about the blend. It's all about the blend, which is really kind of fun. Yeah, right. Cabernet, Merlot, Cab Franc, Malbec, and Petit
That's what I'm
Verdot.
thinking. Nice.
There you go.
There you go.
Nice.
All right, cool. All right. So speaking of Saint-Emilion, this is certainly one iconic area you'll visit, and maybe you can speak a little bit to Saint-Emilion, Liz.
Well, this is rich in history. I mean, the excursion that you go on into the town, into the village, is extraordinary. The vineyards actually surround it, and you can go on. Christine was telling me her favorite thing to do here is do one of the bike rides. That way, and then at the end, you go to a wine tasting. You get to visit the village. You get to go on all of the historic guided tours, and then you're bussed back. You don't have to ride your bike back to the ship after having a little bit of wine. This is the best of all worlds because it has such a rich history, rich wine, and just world-renowned wines.
Cool. And the Chateaux Girard is another winery that we visit in this incredible, beautiful home. So that's on the list. And then, of course, world-class architecture. This, the Place de la Bourse, which is sort of central Bordeaux. I mean, again, incredibly beautiful, iconic picture there. The Pont de Pierre Bridge. And then for art lovers as well, the La Mecca Museum, the Musée des Beaux-Arts is an opportunity there. This one interests me because I'm a World War II history buff. The Nazis had their U-boat base here in Bordeaux, and last June of 2019, this U-boat base in Bordeaux was transformed into the world's largest digital arts center, right? And so that's an opportunity to visit something that obviously quite unique, right? But then, of course, back to the culinary experiences, the oysters in Aquitaine. If you're an oyster lover, you will love the oysters there in Aquitaine. There's mussels as well, and then the white asparagus and the escargot, right? So if you have a bit of daring, certainly try. And of course, the French and their knowledge of the gastronomic experience is probably second to none. So you need to try all of these wonderful things, and you will have that opportunity. So again, back to the itinerary. We'll spend a little bit of time going sort of through this with you. The AmaDolce is your ship on the cruise on the Taste of Bordeaux. We do have, again, spacious suites available. I haven't checked availability, but we're 11 months out. I'm going to say I think we have fairly decent availability still, and we'll give you some hopefully interesting reasons down the road here in the webinar, reasons to think about making a reservation. The onboard dining is fantastic, really amazing. A couple things I point out is fresh and locally sourced, which is absolutely true, no question about it. The always available choices here. Any dietary needs that you have, whatever it might be, just let Sandy know. She'll let us know, and we'd be ready for you once you come on board as well. So there's multi-course dinners. The wine varietals change every night, quite frankly. So if you like, we pour different varietals of reds and whites every evening. If you like last night's red more than tonight, just ask for it. And then, as Liz already mentioned, there's going to be a special winemaker's dinner with those folks from Oregon where they pair their wine with a meal. They're going to do tastings. So, and by the way, these cruises with Celebration of Wine guest winemakers are our highest rated in terms of guest satisfaction levels. So that's always nice to know, right? That you're going to be on a cruise that has a history of being very highly rated. People love the Celebration of Wine cruises. And as I say, you're going to love the cuisine on board. It is stupendous. The way the drinks work is we do mimosas in the morning. It could be sparkling or mimosa. We have a welcome cocktail party. It says bottled water. We're now using more like milk carton type water. The plastic bottles are not earth friendly, and we're going away from that. Certainly wine and beer and soft drinks during meals, of course. And then every night we have a cocktail hour. 1 hour before dinner, the cocktails are on us. Your cruise manager, you will love. They know whereof they speak. They do an absolutely outstanding job running, and they're the circus masters, use that term again, on our ships, right? They do just a phenomenal job. And I tell you, they, I would say, are the heart and soul. The whole crew is, but they are the ones that you have a lot of interaction with, certainly. And as I say, they do a wonderful job. Now, we'll also have a full-time wellness instructor on board. Now, this gentleman is not a wellness instructor during the day, and then he happens to be in the chef's table at night waiting tables as a service person. This wellness instructor is strictly there for your wellness, right? And it could be yoga, tai chi, any number of different classes, core stretching, et cetera, very well received. And then we also, I like to say, have been social distancing on our shore excursions, but we just never called it that. What I mean by that is the ship's complement of guests that go break up into much, much smaller groups when you go out on your shore excursions. And why is that? Well, because people choose the pace that they'd like to go at, a gentle pace, a more regular pace, or quite frankly, an active pace. We also have late risers as well. There are guided hikes. We have a fleet of onboard bikes. There'll be 25 bikes on board, special interest tours. So that then has the impact of breaking the ship's complement into much, much smaller groups, which in this day and age, quite frankly, people find that appealing. And it is appealing. It really is nice that the way we run the excursions, and there's multiple choices, again, to choose from. Yes, you can jump on a bike. Even if you've not been on a bike in a while, these bikes are easy to ride. They're sort of the modified Dutch Flyers, if you will, large circumference tires. Yes, you will wear helmets, and that's how you can tell who the tourists are, and they're the ones wearing the helmets. But you have the opportunity to go out. There's always a guide at the front and a guide at the rear for the fastest and slowest riders. So people enjoy going out on the biking excursions. And then, yes, I think I may have had this picture at the very beginning, the Bordeaux, and Liz, you want to just mention how iconic and how beautiful this part of Bordeaux is?
Well, we were just talking before the webinar started. That image is actually what you see when you're on the boat, on the AmaDolce docked. It is stunning, and you can just walk off the ship and walk into town at night.
Yeah,
when you're docked in Bordeaux. So it's quite lovely.
That's pretty nice, pretty nice. Back to Saint-Emilion, there's the village. Liz talked about the wine experience, but then there is the historic village and buildings to visit there as well.
And you go underneath into the caverns. And
nice.
there's a lot of history in Saint-Emilion and a lot of macarons. I'm sorry.
All right.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, we like that. And also some very good graffiti artists, it looks like there as well.
That's amazing.
Yes. Chateaux Boutonnet, Chalet de Tourille. So again, visiting some bucolic places like this. November may not be as gardeny as this is necessarily, but again, here you can obviously see the ruins of this particular area. And then Liz has a little anecdotal story as it relates to Blaye here, right, Liz?
Well, it was actually Bourg, but they're right next to each other. Yeah. I was actually on the first cruise with Bordeaux in 2016 when we started the itinerary, and Rudy and Christine were on board, and we were celebrating one of Christine's big birthdays. And in Bourg, we were on the ship. We walk into town, go up this small hill up to the wine house, and the city of Bourg does a wine festival for us with music and wine from all over this region. And it is so much fun, and people are dancing, and there's food and all of this. And I walked outside because there's like a railing and you can look at the ship and the river and all that stuff. And I'm standing there chatting with Rudy and our owner. And I said, and that looks like the view we had from up in the wine house. And I said, you know, the only thing missing is we need a zip line from here down to the ship.
Yeah.
That was a great idea. He said the liability would be bad, but that sounds like fun.
But that looks, I would certainly do it, especially after a couple glasses of wine for sure.
Seriously, yeah. The wine helps.
You just buy the extra insurance to cover the zip line.
Why not? Why not?
Yep. Why not? Why not indeed? And here in Pauillac as well, again, a wonderful opportunity to visit this chateau. And then I know, Liz, this is the unique Chateau de Roquetelliade, which you have a story here.
Well, this is because this is like one of the places you go that isn't wine centric. You get to go into markets and sometimes follow our chef around and see what he's purchasing, because our food is all fresh on board the ship. We only have freezers for the ice cream, but this particular chateau is the quirkiest chateau I think I've ever been in Europe. Because if you've been to Europe, there are castles and cathedrals in every single city. This one is quite unique. The gentleman that designed it, I think, was way ahead of his time. It's almost like a medieval funhouse, because as you're walking around and the guide is taking you, you'll be looking at a door or something very ornate, and they'll say, well, what do you think this is? Oh, it looks like it leads to blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, this is a drawbridge. It leads to, I mean, it is so much fun, and it really did make a huge impression on me. This was one of my favorite excursions in Bordeaux.
Cool. Thank you for that.
And it's been owned by the family for about 700 years. Same family.
That does happen in Europe. This happens to, I love this picture of La Cite du Vin. Talk about an interesting place to go purchase your wine, which, by the way, I should mention, you absolutely are welcome to purchase wine, bring it back to the ship. We have no corkage fee, so bring back a bottle to share with your fellow travelers, friends, family, etc. But I just found this picture to be so compelling and so sort of evocative of say, Bordeaux and what over-the-top experience certainly is going to be. So I had to throw that picture in. Now, going back to the opportunities ahead of the cruise, Bilbao, which is a 2-night stay, and of course, probably most famous certainly for the Guggenheim Museum that is here in Bilbao. And then on to, as I said earlier, one of our owners, Rudy Schreiner, who's married to Christine Kars. Rudy is from Vienna. Anyway, this town, San Sebastian, is one of his favorite in all of Europe. So you have an opportunity to spend 2 nights here in San Sebastian. It has the claim to fame of, I think, more Michelin star restaurants per capita than just about anywhere else in the world. So there is a really nice dining opportunity here in San Sebastian. And then after the cruise,
let me just jump in, and even for street food, because they have the picturesque that, so you don't have to spend Michelin 3-star to get incredible food in San Sebastian.
Cool.
That's what Rudy loves about this particular place, because he said there is a street that you just walk down, drink wine, go in and out of these little places, have tapas. He said it is amazing. That's why it's one of his favorites.
Exactly.
All right. And there had to be multiple reasons, and certainly those are excellent reasons. And then sort of icing on a cake again, or cherry on top, after the cruise and you've had that wonderful experience, then to the Loire Valley and a chateau. And so before you head up to Charles de Gaulle, the airport to fly home. So really wonderful, wonderful package. And by the way, the cruise manager, I should mention this, who's with you on the ship, will be with you pre-cruise in the Basque Country in Bilbao and Guggenheim, or in Guggenheim and San Sebastian, and then with you post-cruise here in the Loire Valley. So you have sort of your own private concierge at the hotel, which is a really nice feature. And we always operate our hotel programs, even if there's not a huge subscriber base of guests. And I've seen some where there's a lower number, but we always operate the program. There's no danger of, well, we didn't meet the numbers for the hotel, so we have to pull the plug. That does not happen. The word ama comes from the Latin word amare, which means to love. And I always like to show this in the sense that, you know, I will say this, you can talk about the objective things as it relates to what it is that we bring to the table as a company and as a product, but really it's the subjective things that we bring to the table and that you'll experience on board. And it is this feeling of being a part of a family and this love of our guests, the love of what we do, certainly the love of our travel agency partners, because they're the reason we're in business. So it's kind of a love fest all the way around, and that may sound kind of schmaltzy here on a webinar.
True.
Come
It's
look me up. It's true.
Andy knows. Yeah.
It is true. So when you are on your AMA cruise, maybe you've been before, if you've not, the palpable sense of this whole thing of ama means love, from the amare, the Latin root to love. I absolutely stand by that wholeheartedly. Since we had Veterans Day about a month ago, I just want to remind you, if you're former military, you can save an additional $100 per person. Just give Sandy your credentials. And that's on any cruise. Certainly we're talking about the one that she's, of course, hosting next November, but we do offer an additional $100 per person savings for our military folks, so I want to mention that. And then here is the special offer. on this particular departure. And this got extended. It was due to end the end of October. We extended it to the end of this month. So you have, per booking, you have an option, one of 3 different options on this particular departure. And you don't, in other words, you can pick and choose. So it's a $750 per person discount just on the cruise portion only, or we have a free companion air opportunity as well, or a business class at $29.99. Now, my offer today, a webinar attendee only offer, is an additional $100 per person savings for coming to the webinar today. And this is reserving by December 31. So you have the next 3 weeks essentially to reserve your spot. We're hoping it's on Sandy's cruise. Certainly the extra 100 per person savings can be on any cruise in 21 or 22. We opened the books for 2022 back in May. And so that's available certainly too. So that information is what Sandy has at her fingertips and can tell you more certainly when you get in touch with her. And that's how you get in touch with Sandy, is info@wemaketraveleasy.com. That's info@wemaketraveleasy.com. And of course, her number there,
415-931-1945. You're a World War buff, World War II buff, 1945.
Excellent.
I just want to add one more thing. Since We Make Travel Easy is a virtuoso agency, if you book through us, you will also get a $50 per cabin onboard credit. So that's even another nice little incentive. And that's all the time. So you'll always have that when you book through us.
That's nice. That's nice. So shipboard credit. So the massage, get that massage you want, or there's nice things in the gift shop on board. There's a whole variety of things you can use that shipboard credit for. So thank you for mentioning.
I have to give a little plug for the gift shop. I have to tell you, the prices in the gift shop are really good. I mean, we compared them to on the land and in the gift shop. Really worth buying in the gift shop.
Oh, good. Good
I
to hear.
agree.
Not my forte.
I shop in the gift shop a lot. Yes.
I know.
I guess I'll have to start doing that. All right, good to know. All right, so let me see now. I'll open up the question box here, and we do have some questions. I am here, says Sandy Lois. Hi, or I'm here, Sandy Lois. Hey, Lois, glad you made it. Can the slides be larger? Unfortunately, no. But maybe when you look at watch the video link again, Cassandra, maybe they will appear larger. But unfortunately, the size is what it is. Let's see. Speaking of history, anything on or about Eleanor of Aquitaine? Eleanor of Aquitaine, and that's also from Cassandra, although she has left. Cassandra has left. So, and I know Liz is, didn't you major in French history, Liz, at school, and you know all about
Right.
Eleanor of Aquitaine?
No, but
I'm
I can tell you that's a really good question, because you talked about our cruise managers.
Yeah.
They are exceptional and know so much about the history of what you are traveling through, where you're traveling through, and they give wonderful presentations on board in the main lounge every single day, and
Yes.
sometimes in the evening, to give you, and sometimes it's about history, sometimes it's about tomorrow and what you're going to do, but all of the history, your head will be too full of history. Yes.
Okay. That's good. I like that. And I enjoy the lecturers that we have come on as board.
I do too.
So lose a little bit of French here, merci. And then as Sandy mentioned, what better stocking stuffer than sharing the gift of travel?
Big stocking.
Yeah, that you're right about that. But I have to say this, here we are during this current unusual time, and a lot of what Christine has talked about in some of her webinars. I know we keep saying Christine is one of our owners, Christine Karst, but this idea that when you actually reserve something, you make a reservation and make a commitment, and you put it on your calendar, and you actually see it on the calendar or on your handle, wherever you're going to see it, the amount of good level of good juju, of good feelings that you have, right? Good vibes as far as looking forward to that experience. And certainly it's always been known that anticipating a trip is always a wonderful part of a trip. And especially now I know Liz has traveled, Sandy has traveled, yours truly, not so much. So I'm one of those people that I'm very much looking forward, and I'm sure you all are too, of where we can go internationally again and we can travel overseas. So we're all looking forward to that day. And we, again, share this thought of what a wonderful holiday gift for family, friends, et cetera, to look forward to doing a trip next year with Sandy at the agency. And in November, we make travel easy as she hosts this wonderful Bordeaux cruise. And come with us next Monday, as we're going to do a whole different ball game. It's going to be on Christmas markets, which is a total change up, a really interesting, unique time to be in Europe on the Rhine and the Danube is during the time of the Christmas market. So any parting comments or thoughts?
Yeah, I want to just jump in and follow up what you were talking about, the anticipation. Yeah. And actually, in a recent newsletter that I sent out, there's been a Dutch study, and actually the 3 parts of travel. And once you book your trip, that is the absolute happiest time, even happier than when you're actually traveling. Because when you travel, you can have a hiccup, you know, you can miss a plane, you can have a problem. So there's some stress that can happen during travel. And afterwards, they say the post-travel is 2 to 8 weeks, and then the glow is gone as if you know. But the whole anticipation before just gives you all that, so much to look forward to. So what a great thing. I mean, here we are kind of stuck back in shelter in place and everything, and to have something really wonderful to look forward to. And what a wonderful gift to give someone that you know, your partner, your spouse, a close family member. This is a very romantic, wonderful thing that you can do. Or think about a Christmas markets for the whole family. You could do a multi-generational gift this year for people to do next year when it'll be safe and grandma and grandpa can go on the trip and it's not going to be any problem. And we all going to miss Christmas this year. No matter what you do, it's not going to be the Christmas you're used to. So why not just blow it out? You saved your vacation dollars this year. Just do a fabulous Christmas markets next week. So this is next week on Monday, the 14th at 5 p.m. California time. It's a We Make Travel Easy, but it's AmaWaterways, and Brian and Liz will be back again. Just shoot me an email, info@wemaketraveleasy.com. It's really easy to remember. And I'm going to send you a thank you after this, so you'll have my email. And if you want to come Monday and learn about the Christmas markets, we're going to be on the Rhine, but I mean, there's Christmas markets on the Danube, there's Christmas markets all over. And Christmas markets are not a touristy thing. They're really something European. It's like us going to see ice skating in the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center. We don't consider that touristy. We consider that part of celebrating the holiday season. And in these Christmas markets, in these small little towns, people get together, they have wine together, they just enjoy it. It's not a touristy thing. So it's really, if you're not familiar with it, please come Monday. Come with me next November. We're gonna have a fabulous time drinking wine together. So any questions or comments, I'm available. Love to have you join.
Cool. Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Sandy. Those are very cogent remarks to make. Thank you so much. And we will be back next Monday, Liz and I. So that was it on the questions. I'm going to send Sandy the webinar video link in 2 different fashions, both in MP4 and otherwise. So look forward to seeing that. Share it with your friends.
One more thing. You know, the special, the promo is only good till the end of the month. And all you need to do is put a deposit, which is $400 a person. That is not a lot. So, and then you would not have your final payment, I think it's till August. So there's plenty of time, and you could, you know, really have something to look forward to or give a fabulous gift.
I'm going to quote you now. I'm going to quote that Dutch study. I like that Dutch study. I'm going to quote you.
I'll send the link to you.
Please send that to me. Go ahead, Liz.
Let me add something that I learned in our inventory meeting today. November and December are filling up fast for next year, just so you know. So don't think that just because it's far away that you have plenty of time. For whatever reason, those 2 months are getting slammed. So if you really want to do either of these, I would go ahead and make a deposit if it's even a thought.
It really, I mean, you have to realize we missed Thanksgiving and we're going to miss Christmas this year. So people don't want to miss it
So
next
people
year.
are antsy. That's
Right.
it.
And people
They're like,
think
I want
that
to do
they're
it.
going to wait and they're going to get sales. It's not going to happen. You have to realize everybody missed their vacation in 2020. Many people moved their bookings to 2021, and there were already bookings on for 2021 before COVID ever happened.
Right.
So availability is going to be very tight. I've had to move some things to 2022 because there was no availability in 2021. So it is not going to be easy. So if you really want to have a fabulous vacation and really be sure that you have your do-over because you missed it this year, don't wait. My mother used to have an expression. She used to say, I don't want you to be disappointed. I don't want you to think that you're going to get the vacation that you want and wait and it's going to be a great deal. That's not happening. And airline fares are still low right now. As soon as the vaccine takes off, airlines are going to jump their fares up. So if you got your dates now, you can lock in some incredible rates, especially on business. So I would not wait. Now's the time to do something.
Right. Good points. All good points. And I couldn't concur more. All right. So thank you for all of those very solid comments and advice. And I think hopefully these will whet your appetite a little bit for making a reservation for next year to go with Sandy in November, or Christmas markets. We're going to talk about that next Monday. All right.
I also have a Nile River cruise in February 2022.
That's
so
right.
I mean, if that's been on my bucket list for a long time, and I know there's and it's only 68 passengers, 34 cabins. So if you want to come and do that, that's going to be fabulous too.
Yes. Yes. We have a potpourri, to use the French word. Is that French? I don't know. But a potpourri of opportunities to go. All right. Cool. Okay, everybody.
Brian and Liz, it was fabulous as always.
Thank you, Sandy. It's always fun to do it with you.
Yes, indeed. All right.
Happy holidays, everyone. Happy New Year.
See you next Monday.
All good things in 2021.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Well, thank you. Bye.